It's that time of year where kids are out trick-or-treating and people are telling ghost stories. However, Halloween is not just about ghosts, dressing up, and sweets, but it is also dedicated to monsters. Now, when it comes to monsters for Halloween, the first thing that comes to mind will be vampires, Frankenstein monsters, werewolves, witches, and mummies. But for me, when monsters come to my mind, I think of monsters that are actors in suits, smashing model cities like Godzilla, or prehistoric and mythical creatures that have been brought to life by the magic of stop-motion animation by the late Ray Harryhausen. So this year, for Halloween, I will be taking a look at some of these beasts that have terrorized the silver screen since the dawn of cinema. Not all of these characters were as big as skyscrapers, but they were still large and terrifying nonetheless. And without further ado, this is Dragonzilla's Top 10 Giant Movie Monsters. Number 10. Knifehead from Pacific Rim. Category 3 kaiju known as Knifehead may be a newcomer to the collection of movie monsters, but he has left an impact on many kaiju enthusiasts like myself, looking like an alien shark and an upgraded version of Griron from the Gamera series. Knifehead was the first monster in the movie. Well, okay, there were some scenes of the other kaiju, who we saw during the intro to the film first, but since they were mostly glimpses, they don't count. So Knifehead is the first beast that we saw. He attacks a ship, which is a tradition in most monster movies, off the coast of Alaska, but is stopped by the Jaeger Gypsy Danger. Knifehead rips Gypsy's arm off, but is defeated and doesn't appear again in the movie. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that kaiju means giant monster in Japanese. Number 9. Tarantella from Tarantula. Probably not as famous as Godzilla and King Kong, but Tarantula from the 1955 film Tarantula is a recognizable creature from the age of the B-movie, as a lot of monster movies were being made on a regular basis back in the 1950s. This monster starts off as an ordinary tarantula, but through a series of growth experiments, it grows large, and after it unnoticeably escapes, the tarantula continues to grow until it is as big as a house. I may be wrong, but I believe that there were 2 tarantulas used in the movie. One was a normal spider in front of a screen or in a model setting, and the other was an animatronic that was used for close-ups. Speaking of which, the animatronic was used for posters and promotions for the movie. In another movie called Missiles to the Moon, there was a similar prop that looked like the giant tarantula animatronic, so I wonder if that was the same prop or a different spider that was inspired by the tarantula prop but made to look like an alien spider. Number 8. Gamera from the Gamera series. Inspired by the success of the Godzilla franchise, a little Japanese studio called Daiei wanted to follow in the footsteps of Toho and the King of the Monsters, and created their own kaiju, but instead of a dinosaur, their monster mascot was a turtle that they named Gamera, who is known as the Guardian of the Universe, and like Godzilla, Gamera would battle his own collection of kaiju rivals. He can breathe fire like a dragon, and when he flies, he could easily be mistaken for a UFO. Gamera is so gymnastic that he would probably enter the Olympics. Quote from James Roth, aka the angry video game nerd. He was more friendly towards children, hence why he is also well known as the friend of all children. However, this was during the 60s and early 70s. But in a trilogy that were made back in the 90s, he was a force of nature, constantly battling Gauss, his arch nemesis, and not having enough time for children. However, in 2006, he went back to being child-friendly and went under the name Toto in Gamera the Brave. With the exception of the footage that was shown at a Comic-Con in 2015, there hasn't been another Gamera movie in over a decade. But there is a question. Will he ever fight Godzilla himself? Only time will tell. Number 7. The Loch Ness Monster from the Seven Faces of Dr. Loch. Not really the main star, but is still considered a highlight. The Loch Ness Monster did one time appear in a 1964 movie called The Seven Faces of Dr. Loch. The real star is Tony Randall, playing not only Dr. Loch, but some other characters. However, the Loch Ness Monster in the movie was very different compared to other depictions of Nessie that have appeared in other films. This Nessie doesn't like water, hence why no one has been able to spot the beast. So basically, in the movie, it's a lake monster that hates water. For the most part of the film, he is seen as a small fish in a goldfish bowl, but once his bowl is shot and destroyed, he doubles in size until he is bigger than a caravan. But unlike the real Nessie, who is meant to be friendly and shy, this Loch Ness Monster is a bloodthirsty, cold-blooded man-eater. He chases some gangsters, and when he confronts the gangsters, he grows extra heads representing all the seven faces of Dr. Loch, with the exception of the giant serpent. Well, even though we hear the serpent's laughter. However, Dr. Loch stops the Loch Ness Monster by making it rain and turning him back into a fish. Despite being stop motion, the Loch Ness Monster wasn't done by Ray Harryhausen or Willis O'Brien, but by someone called Jim Danforth. However, we will get to Harryhausen and O'Brien later. Number 6. Rexy from Jurassic Park. When you think of Jurassic Park, the first thing that will come to mind will be the Velociraptors and the star of the show, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, aka Rexy. Although other T-Rexes appear in every single movie, Rexy has the most love and the biggest fanfare. First appearing in the first Jurassic Park film, she devours a goat that had only one day left till retirement, attacks the jeeps, and for the highlight of the scene, the movie, and the entire franchise, eats the guy on the toilet. Rexy would appear now and then throughout the film. One of my favourite Rexy moments, aside from eating the guy on the toilet, is the scene when she attacks a Galliomimus, which is actually a reference to how Guanji made his first appearance, eating a small dinosaur, in the 1969 Harryhausen film The Valley of Guanji. However, she played a heroic act in saving Alan and Co. from the Velociraptors, and in the two recent entries, Jurassic World, helps Blue on defeating the Indominus Rex and the Mosasaur jumping in at the last second to finish the hybrid dinosaur off, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, she eats the bad guy. Also, whenever Tyrannosaurus appears, I always cry out, "It's Rexy!" Number 5. The Basilisk from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. As I said in my review of the Gamera Gashapon Group B video, if you saw that, my favourite Harry Potter movie and book of all time is The Chamber of Secrets. Not only is it because it's a well-written story, but it has some awesome magical creatures. Dobby the House Elf, even though he's a love him or hate him character, Fawkes the Phoenix, Aragog, and of course, the Basilisk. Now, the Basilisk has had many depictions over the centuries. However, J.K. Rowling, the author of the books, portrayed him as a giant serpent. The Basilisk is so horrifying that one look can kill you, but a glimpse, whether it's through a camera, in a mirror, or catching its reflection, will only petrify you. Throughout the movie and the book, the Basilisk is kept in suspense, and it's all who's going around Hogwarts petrifying most of the students, and doesn't appear until the third act. However, when the Basilisk finally appears, holy hell, is it one magnificent beast. The monster serpent goes after Harry, but is blinded by Fawkes the Phoenix. Apparently, the scenes with the Basilisk are longer in the book, where in the movie it is reduced. Despite appearing once, and having the occasional mention, the Basilisk did make a little background cameo in the Deadly Hallows, but as a skeleton.